Hi and welcome back to the Silverstone Museum YouTube channel and welcome to MotoGP week. This week we're going to have a little bit of a focus on a British icon, Barry Sheene. Hugely popular amongst our visitors here, and we have at the Silverstone Museum an immense collection of Barry Sheene bikes. But I'm going to start with a little bit of a history lesson. Some of you as viewers will be aware of a little championship called Formula One that started in 1950. But some of you may not know that the Motorcycling World Championship actually started the year before, in 1949. And one of the prominent riders who won one of the championships was a chap called Les Graham. He was a prominent motorcyclist before the Second World War. He was then a Lancaster bomber pilot during the war, then went back to racing bikes and won the Motorcycling World Championship afterwards. Now, the reason I mention him is he had a son, Stuart Graham, who also went on to race bikes and cars. He raced in the Touring Car Championship. We've even got some of Stuart's items on display in the museum. Now, this bike is part of that story. Stuart Graham raced this bike, the son of the Motorcycle World Champion. He raced this bike. An up-and-coming Barry Sheene, his dad, they were racing bull tacos, and Sheene's dad realised he has talent and contacted Suzuki, and the bike that Stuart Graham actually raced was bought by Barry Sheene's dad for a price of about £2,000. Now, in today's money, it's about £23,500 this bike was bought for. It's a fabulous Suzuki 125 and it is in absolutely pristine condition. This is the one that Barry Sheene raced. It's a 1967 bike, but Barry Sheene used it in 1971. And was incredibly successful on it. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice we've actually got no chain on this bike. It's got quite a complex gearbox and there's a little bit of a problem with it at the moment. So the chain's been removed so we can move the bike around. It's got an immensely long fuel tank, incredibly light bike, and the riding position is a bit strange with this huge fairing that sits right the way over the top. Really, in the early days of the aero with the bikes, you'd have got a great riding position and managed to get these bikes to go pretty quickly. Just a small capacity 125, but an incredibly successful bike and important for that heritage of Barry Sheene, still the most recent 500cc world champion. Now, I mentioned that world championship. We're going to go and have a look at a lovely collection of Barry Sheene bikes. Just a little ode to the RS 500 as we go past. And the reason I mention that is Barry Sheene, when he finished his bike racing career, did go on to do a bit of touring car racing along with some presenting. But the first thing I want to bring us to are the collection of Barry Sheene's helmet and leathers. Now, these are the original items. And they're in the very glass case. They've been here since the museum opened and they're incredibly popular. But I just want Jess to get the camera in here to have a look at this helmet. First of all, hand painted, the Daffy Duck logo there and the number 7 on the side. Very, very Sheene-esque. And I understand Barry Sheene wasn't particularly the greatest student at school, but he loved the cartoons, loved Daffy Duck, and hence the Daffy Duck logo there. The other thing I want to notice is Barry Sheene was quite a character, and he did like a smoke. And if you look right at the bottom of the helmet there is a little hole that Barry used to drill so he could have a cigarette on the grid, you know, just to calm the nerves before a race. It's a lovely little detail, and these items are here for all of our visitors to come and see, and they are the genuine article. More of the genuine article, I'm just going to bring the camera around here to look at these two bikes. Now, we've got actually 6 bikes in our Sheene collection here, but these two are really significant. Barry Sheene won the 500cc world title on the RG 500, and these are his 1976 and 77 championship bikes. Now, I'm going to get out the way so you can have a good look at these because they are exquisite. They've had a bit of restoration work done on them, but they are absolutely beautiful. They are runners. Key difference from the 1976 bike, if we just get the camera down here, you'll notice we've got the exposed spring on suspension and you've got an exposed exhaust. Difference in 1977 with a bit of development, you'll notice there's a different type of suspension down here, and we've got a fairing covering part of the exhaust and building into the seat there. You'll notice there's lots of little chip marks. We've still got duct tape holding bits together. We've got little bits of dents on the fuel tank and things. And this isn't problems that we've had since the bike's been run. These are genuine little chip marks and things that are left on these bikes from when they run. Now, we're going to try and choreograph this. It's a bit difficult with the camera. We've got the bikes crammed in because we've got lots of exhibits here. And this one is my particular favourite. This is the 1979 Suzuki. The last year Barry Sheene raced Suzuki before he moved to Yamaha. A very, very significant bike for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's never been restored. There's loads of little chip marks on it. There's loads of bits like the other bikes, and you can see here little marks and everything on it. It still leaks lots of oil and anti-dive here and there, but it is still a runner. You'll notice the Goodwood stickers, and I know various well-known motorcyclists have ridden this bike. I believe John McGuinness has actually taken this up the hill at Goodwood before. So it's a really, really important bike. 1979 British Grand Prix went down in history. It was a titanic battle between Barry Sheene and Kenny Roberts. They were mates off track, but they certainly battled on track. And at one point, when Roberts went past Sheene at Woodcote Corner, he literally stuck two fingers, allegedly, up at Roberts as he went past. Certainly in commentating, they were, oh, did he give him a wave there? It was all a little bit, he didn't want to say too much about what had happened, but they were certainly gesturing to each other as they went past. And this is that actual bike. Now, one other little detail that we don't really talk about very much, but I learnt not too long ago. You'll see this little chip mark here where, if I get my fingers right in, you can see where that's not very smooth. Well, actually, what was happening on the grid is scrutineers were measuring the gap between the handlebar and the edge of the fairing. And story goes that actually this gap was too narrow. So Barry Sheene asked in his own particular way for a hacksaw. And this was literally cut away on the grid to ensure that the gap was wide enough for the bike to race. Now, if you look at the gap on the other side, you'll see it's chipped away. If I just move that out the way, it's chipped away, but it's a little bit neater. Now, my assumption is that Barry Sheene did it on one side, and then actually a Suzuki mechanic probably got hold of it and did a slightly better job of the cut this side. But you can still see where that's been cut away. It's absolutely lovely. I love, and I can't get it across to you on the camera now, but the way this bike smells being up close. There's this lovely oily smell to it. I also love some of the at the period of time sponsorship. We've got the Brutes 33 logos on here. You've also got the Marlboro cigarettes bits at the back. We've got the Heron Suzuki, which was kind of that iconic colour of the black and gold at the time. And it really is a stunning bike to have here. In fact, all of the Sheene bikes we have here are part of a collection that we're really, really proud to have on show. So if you're here at the MotoGP this weekend, the museum is free for you to come to, so come and get up close to these Sheene bikes. And not only at the museum, we will be having these bikes on display throughout the summer, so please come down and have a look at this fabulous collection.